Welcome to the Lords of the Fallen Technical Showcase. Here at Hexworks, our goal has always been to create the most immersive game experience possible. Today, we're journeying to Skyrest Bridge, one of the game's early locations, to demonstrate just some of the impressive ways Unreal Engine 5's state-of-the-art technologies have helped us deliver on this ambitious vision for our upcoming action RPG. We want players to feel fully immersed in our world by playing as their own unique virtual persona. To achieve this, we have used a combination of technologies, including 3D scans of real people and UE5's own character customization tech. Players can create unique faces and bodies by dynamically morphing between a huge range of shapes before finessing the finer details. Our extensive selection of armor sets seamlessly adapt to whatever shape the player chooses. It's really important to us that we represent as wide a proportion of our audience as possible. Being able to customize your hero in Lords of the Fallen is only the beginning. Each and every one of our characters is incredibly detailed, using high-resolution textures. Get up close to any surface in the game, like this tunic for example, and detail texturing provides incredible levels of micro-detail. How these objects move and behave is also crucial for player immersion. UE5's Chaos Physics engine facilitates advanced simulations for clothes, chains, hair, belts, and a whole lot more. This helps to substantially enhance the secondary motion in all our characters, making their movements look much more lifelike. The lighting in Lords of the Fallen takes full advantage of Unreal's brand new Lumen GI. We've been able to light our complex environments in real time, meaning we can immediately see the effect of a light bounce, for example, without waiting for the traditional slow baking processes. Watch how the lighting reacts as we move our light source around this environment. Global illumination like this can be quite demanding on processing, so we also make use of emissive shapes to add additional details to the lighting of any space. We can then fine-tune these light bounces on our nanite meshes, providing our world with impressive levels of detail and minimal impact on performance. Perhaps the most important element of Lords of the Fallen is the ability to travel between two worlds: the realm of the living, Axiom, and the realm of the dead, Umbral. We've created our own custom toolset within UE5 that allows us to intricately craft these two environments side by side and seamlessly swap between them. This means our artists and designers can ensure these worlds feel intrinsically linked, like two sides of the same coin, even if one side is decidedly more horrific than the other. On behalf of Hexworks, thanks for watching today's brief tech presentation. The twin realms of Umbral and Axiom await fearless adventurers later this year when Lords of the Fallen launches on PC and current-gen consoles.
I see through your darkness now. I see through your lies. I will show them how to see as I do. I will not appease your gods. I will destroy them.
Cut. That was the one.
Good? You like it?
Yeah.
Project M is one of NCSoft's most ambitious projects to date. What would it mean to you if the world was comprised of informational particles instead of physical particles? Oh, I got a little ahead of myself. I am TJ Kemp from NCSoft. Welcome to Project M. How would the fabric of simulated reality change our perceived world if we could tamper with the arrangement of those particles? This very idea is what sparked Project M. The informational particles that shape Project M's world can transform reality based on your choices. And each choice you make will change your experience. The information that exists in the present reality determines how the world will unfold. Value every encounter and every moment. These will be essential in the world of Project M. This is where our journey ends for now. I look forward to seeing you all again soon.
All right, so last year, we added several new features to the engine to support foliage rendering, and the Fortnite team used those features to ship Battle Royale Chapter 4. At the same time, Jacob over there and the team at Quixel were experimenting with what's possible for photoreal foliage environments, as well as testing out the latest functionality that we've been building for Unreal Engine. So, Jacob's here with us today in the Unreal Editor. Let's explore the environment. And what better way to do that than off-roading? And what better way to off-road than in a Rivian R1T? Now, Rivian uses Unreal to power their instrument cluster, including 3D visualization of their vehicles. So we worked with them to bring the R1T to life in this experience. Let's head on out, Jacob.
Sure thing, on my way.
All right. So we're building tools for interactive and dynamic worlds. So here we have chaos physics simulating rocks that tumble as we drive over them, leaves bend out of the way, and we also added some real-time fluid simulation. We worked with the team at Rivian to set up Unreal's Chaos vehicle model to simulate the suspension of the truck and how the electric motors drive each individual wheel. Chaos also simulates how the tires compress and deform, and MetaSounds enabled the team to precisely resynthesize the sounds of the electric motors and mix them with the ambisonics of the jungle. So Rivian provided us with a highly detailed model of the truck, about 71 million polygons that were able to render in real time thanks to Nanite. Now, the Rivian not only looks incredibly realistic because of Lumen and Nanite, but also its materials. And today, we're introducing Substrate, our new material framework. And to better demonstrate it, let's swap the paint out for Opal. Now, of course, you can't order a Rivian with Opal body panels, but Opal was the internal code name for this project, and also a really great demonstration of Substrate's capabilities. The base layer models the iridescence, refraction, and reflections that occur inside of an opal. And on top of that is a layer representing the polished surface and how light is absorbed as it travels through that clear layer of varying depths. And now we can add back on the dust and dirt layers. And notice how the reflection changes when interacting with the dust layer, and that there are no artifacts along the transition from dirt to dust to opal. So Substrate is more expressive, enabling artists to create materials like this with different shading models and compose and layer those materials as they see fit. All right, let's head on out, Jacob.
On my way.
All right. In terms of performance, Substrate materials that are similar to the current Unreal Engine shading model cost about the same. But now, artists have the freedom to author more complex materials for extremely detailed use cases, like in cinematics and in film. So we're going to drive under this fallen tree here, and everything that you've seen up to this point was painstakingly hand-built by the environment team at Quixel. Everything since that fallen tree has been built using our brand new experimental suite of procedural content generation tools, entirely an engine that are flexible, deterministic, and artist-driven. Our guiding principle in building these systems was to empower artists to make tools for artists. So Jacob's going to go ahead and add a procedural assembly to the world. And the cool thing is that it communicates. Thank you. Yeah. Pretty cool. And the cool thing is that it communicates with other nearby procedural elements in the scene, like the creek bed. So let's say a designer comes by, wants to direct the player to drive to the left. Jacob can simply move the assembly to the right, and everything updates to accommodate that change. Game design is iterative, so let's say the designer comes back, wants to give the player the choice of going left or right again. Jacob can simply move the assembly back over. Now, the artist who created this assembly also added some additional handles that Jacob can use to art direct where rock slides occur. Allows him to customize the piece a little bit more, make it a little easier for the Rivian to drive by. So we started by handcrafting that original part of the level to set the visuals and art direction for the entire piece, and then built out procedural tools that allowed the team to create a much larger play space much more quickly. Now let's see how we can use these procedural tools to make larger sweeping changes to the environment. So Jacob, let's start by removing some of the trees in this area.
Absolutely, that's easy enough actually.
All right, a little too much. Let's add some trees back in.
Okay.
And let's also add in some cliff formations, give it a little bit more variability. So the procedural systems are all deterministic. As Jacob is experimenting with different sets of input parameters, once he finds a set that he likes, he can always go back to it and get out exactly the same results. And the procedural systems aren't just placing trees and rocks, but also fog cards, bugs, birds, everything that's needed to bring this environment to life. And everything that you've seen here works at scale. This environment is 4 kilometers by 4 kilometers. If we hide all of the procedural elements, we can see that original hand-built area about 200 meters by 200 meters. We believe that there will always be the need for hand-building environments, so we design these procedural systems to be tools for artists that work in concert with hand-built content. Both Substrate and the new procedural tools will be available in experimental form in 5.2. And everything you've seen here is running in the Unreal Editor in real time on a developer machine with an Intel 13900K CPU and NVIDIA RTX 4090 GPU.
I'm glad that went well. All right. Hey, folks. So let's talk about how all this was made. Michael here has the scene open in Unreal Editor so we can take a closer look. For the environment, we built this level using Quixel Megascan assets, many of which are available in the Fab UEFN plugin. We also used custom content that we built just for this demo. For the gameplay you just saw, we hand-placed enemies using a creative device called a guard spawner, which generates the aliens that you saw at specific locations. However, we wanted to do more and introduce dynamic play that goes beyond what the current creative devices can do. So to do this, we used our new programming language called Verse. So in this short section of code, every second we grab the position of the player, and for each spawn location, we then calculate the distance to the player, and if it's within a certain threshold, we tell that guard to spawn into the level. So now we have gameplay that's more reactive to the player's actions. This is just a short example of using Verse, but for a deeper dive, check out the Verse Tech Talk later today. Now, Michael is going to show us how we put the intro cinematic together.
Hi, everybody. So before the gameplay section, we played this quick cinematic animation. This was actually created entirely in UEFN using Sequencer. Sequencer is our multi-track editor, and it's been used in everything from in-game cinematics to Hollywood feature films. So let's take a look. Now all of this stuff is available right inside UEFN. So let's take a look at this last shot from a slightly different perspective. So the other thing we featured in this section was a bunch of Niagara. Niagara is now available in UEFN, and it's our high-end VFX system. So, and just like in the movies, you can frame up shots and have great effects. So what we're going to do here is just set this up. So just like in the movies, you can have slow-mo too. Makes everything better, right? So these are just a sampling of some of the stuff that you can do inside Sequencer. But let's get back to the game.
All right, so now that we're back in the game, in UEFN, you have access to Fortnite's time of day system. Or you could use what we did and do what we did and use a completely custom lighting solution. And thanks to Lumen, both daytime and nighttime look great. Now, let's go to the final gameplay section and let's close out the demo. But as a reminder, everything that you're seeing here was created in the same version of UEFN that we're releasing today.
I think I'm going to jump in here and help you, Ray.
I'm all for that.
Unreal Editor for Fortnite runs on PC and is integrated directly with Fortnite, so you have access to over 4 years of content, all for free, to get you started. What's special about UEFN is what we call Live Edit. Live Edit allows anyone on your team to join a UEFN session from any platform that runs Fortnite. That means someone can join from a console, using the normal Fortnite client, and they're able to work alongside and collaborate with PC users. UEFN has access to all Fortnite creative devices, our modular gameplay systems that work in the in-game editor. This allows you to instantly add gameplay and quickly bootstrap your game from the hundreds of gameplay devices already available. The UEFN beta has many of the same features we use to create Fortnite, including the landscape editing toolset. You can edit the landscape to change the look of your island, or make sweeping changes to create something completely new, and then quickly play it in-game to check out the results. So even though you have access to tons of Fortnite content, with UEFN you can make content that looks nothing like Fortnite. This is a section from Forest Guardian, a tech demo built in UEFN that we are launching today. A big feature of UEFN is the ability to import your own custom assets, so we used a few 3D models, textures, and materials that we built just for the project. And all the lighting in the cave was made possible thanks to Lumen, our real-time global illumination system. You can also find more content like Quixel Megascans and Sketchfab models in our initial alpha release of the Fab plugin for UEFN. All assets are curated and optimized for use in Fortnite, and the full version of Fab will launch later this year. You can also create and modify materials, so you can change the look and feel of objects easily. And you can import skeletal meshes, and then animate using Sequencer and Control Rig. Everything you've just seen is available today in the public beta version of Unreal Editor for Fortnite.
We upgraded with broad strokes, using Lumen, Nanite, and other UE5 tech. We worked directly with the engine team to improve these features and ensure they scaled on all platforms Fortnite ships on. First up was lighting. Now, our options in the past to improve lighting have been somewhat limited because Fortnite is a really dynamic game. Big lighting just doesn't work because the moment a player destroys a wall, light maps are invalidated. So we were really excited to give Lumen a shot. It updates global illumination in real time as the environment changes. Early in Chapter 4 development, we captured a video of Lumen enabled in a Fortnite test build. And the player in the video destroyed a wall, and light just came flooding into the room. And honestly, it was pretty stunning. It brought new life to the environment, and the realistic bounce light worked great with Fortnite's vibrant style. While initial results were exciting, nothing is that easy in game dev. And as we discovered, real-world lighting can create real-world problems. Playtests revealed areas of the map, like attics and basements, that had no windows and were just too dark for gameplay. And it was also the first time we were using auto exposure, and it was causing bloomed-out areas when players were in dark interiors looking outside. We solved these issues using UE5 features like local exposure and some art-directable controls within Lumen that enabled us to provide a final image much better for gameplay. While the art team refined content, the engine team provided some new scalability options so that we could run Lumen on next-gen consoles at 60 frames per second. In addition to lighting, Nanite opened the door for us to add an incredible amount of detail to the Fortnite island. It was introduced in UE5 as a virtualized geometry system that supports extreme mesh complexity. So we spent some time experimenting, looking for a good balance between stylized art direction and detail, so we could increase visual quality, but still maintain Fortnite's iconic style. Now that artists weren't limited by triangle counts, we scaled our content pipelines to support Nanite on high-end hardware. Tech artists modeled new vegetation assets, and the art team created some high-detailed props and some amazing hero assets. But this still left us with a large building library that needed a visual upgrade. We resolved this using an offline process that took displacement maps from our materials and created high-resolution nanite meshes. It was really cool to see these classic Fortnite materials like brick, stone, and wood get a high-resolution facelift and pop off their surfaces. Now, past nanite demos have relied on static hard surface environments, but Fortnite's an animated world. Trees blow in the wind, and buildings wobble when hit. So we worked with the Nanite team, and they extended the material pipeline to include masked and animated materials on nanite geometry. The island in Fortnite is constantly evolving, with major changes each season and complete reboots when chapters launch. So it's essential that we evolve our workflows too. During Chapter 4 development, we started utilizing 2 new UE5 features that changed how we build levels: World Partition and one file per actor. World Partition automates the level streaming, and it allowed us to work in one large level. We use level instance actors to group content logically, like a building and all of its props. One file per actor ensured our large dev team could work in this space without source control conflicts. Now, these features hadn't yet been put to their paces by a large dev team, so there were some early bumps in the road. But RLDs were in daily communication with the engine team, and we saw consistent improvements. Not long into production, we were developing Fortnite in a much more collaborative environment. Our goal for Chapter 4 was to deliver an awesome experience to our players. But we also hope by using and improving the engine's newest features, we've improved your experience as well.